Hello, everybody, and welcome to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball, live from Alumni Field. Alongside Zach Corsun, I'm Jared Greenspan, back in the booth to bring you today's matchup between Michigan and Penn State, starting in just a few moments. The Wolverines came home from a road trip in Evanston on Wednesday and topped arch-rival Michigan State 6-1, led by Alex Storako, who hurled a complete game three-hitter, striking out 12. Michigan now riding a two-game winning streak, and they'll turn to Storako again as she toes the rubber in the circle for today's opener on the weekend series against the Nittany Lions. And Zach, what does Storako have to do today to continue that success she had Wednesday after she slumped over the weekend in Evanston?
Well, Jared, Storako did a great job not allowing a lot of base runners. She allowed a home run, which she struggled with over that road trip, but because only one player was on base, and that was after the home run. So when she allowed the home run, I should say, there was nobody on base, and that was the only run that Michigan State scored the entire game, and she really limited the damage. Michigan State wasn't able to do much off of her regarding home runs outside of that one home run in the second inning, and the offense for Michigan really backed her up well, scoring 7 runs.
And every game is of so much importance now to the Wolverines as we're in the thick of the Big Ten Conference slate, and Michigan finds themselves looking up to a number of teams in the standings, Penn State including, and that's thanks to the Wolverines' 2-4 conference record. It was 0-4, though. Now Michigan has won 2 straight. That Sunday victory in Evanston, and then the win Wednesday here at Alumni Field over Michigan State. It's going to be a long trek back to relevancy in conference for the Wolverines, and they just have to take it one game at a time, and that starts today against Penn State. The Nittany Lions enter this game at 22-13, right in the middle of the pack in the Big Ten, boasting a 4-2 conference record. Michigan, of course, at 2-4 in conference. And it'll be a matchup of 2 strong pitchers, with Alex Storako going up against Bailey Parshall for Penn State.
Jared, Michigan had a great offensive performance the other day when they put up 7 runs, highlighted by the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, Hannah Carson, Melina Livingston, and Taylor Bump. Taylor Bump hasn't really been doing much all year, which is really uncharacteristic of her. But she had that RBI double early on. Melina Livingston had the home run, and Hannah Carson had a double on her own right. She was 2 for 2, Livingston 2 for 2, and Bump 1 for 3. If they can continue that today, then Storako's looking at a win.
First pitch flared into shallow center field underneath his Burkhart. She makes the grab, so Alex Storako needs just one pitch to retire Cassie Lindmark, the leadoff hitter for the Nittany Lions, and that'll bring up Allie Curlin, the designated player. She is a force at the plate, slugged 13 home runs, driven in 33 runs, batting a cool .350. Lindmark, who was retired, was hitting .406 entering the day, but Storako got her on a can of corn, a fly out to center. First pitch is fouled back off the bat of Curlin, straight back into the netting, and it's 0-1. Curlin enters the day tied for 12th place in all of college baseball in home runs with those 13 long balls. Left-handed batter against the right-handed throwing Storako. Here comes the 0-1, and Curlin fouls it straight back, near identical result, and it's 0-2, so nothing but fastballs early on from Storako as she works her way through this Penn State lineup.
And not only does Curlin lead Penn State in home runs, but also doubles with 14, 4 more than the next highest total from Lindmark. So she's a real power threat in that second hole.
The 0-2 chop foul wide of first. Esmen chases to retrieve it, and we'll do that again. Fourth pitch of the at-bat coming to Curlin, who's just trying to stay alive here. She does have 19 strikeouts on the season, and of course we all know about Storako's prowess in the circle when it comes to fanning the opposition. 188 strikeouts in just 114 and a third innings pitched for Alex Storako. Looking to get our first punch out of the day here. Ahead in the count, 0-2 on Curlin. Here it comes. Lifted into the infield on the right side. Shading under it is Livingston on the dirt. She'll make the catch. And so 2 pop-outs to begin the afternoon for Alex Storako, and that'll bring up Lauren Marcotte for Penn State.
Storako has been dealing in the zone early on. She's yet to throw a ball, as Lindmark flew out on the first pitch in the first at-bat, and then Curlin on an 0-2 count after also a foul ball, so 3 straight strikes to her.
First pitch to Marcotte rides high, right on cue, and it's 1-0. Marcotte, the starting shortstop, right-handed hitter, hitting .287 on the air. Not a lot of power from her. She slugs just .330, but gets on base at a decent clip at .380. Storako behind in the count, 1-0, delivers, and it's swung on and miss. A pitch that skipped to the plate, but Marcotte went after it. Comes up empty, and it's 1-1. Just getting going here at Alumni Field in the top of the first. Michigan playing host to Penn State. The opening game in a 3-game series between these two conference foes. 2 outs. Storako has 2 pop-ups. Nobody on. The 1-1 rides high to Marcotte, the number 3 hitter, and it's 2-1.
We had a few announcer jinx in our own right on Wednesday. The first starting off early here, not even halfway through the first inning.
They're inescapable, unavoidable. 2-1 coming from Storako to Marcotte. Cut on and miss on the high rise ball, and it's 2-2. So Storako eyeing her first strikeout of the afternoon, looking for a 1-2-3 frame to begin her day. 2-2 coming from Storako to Marcotte. Swung on and missed. She struck her out. Storako blew it right by her. And it's a 1-2-3 opening inning for Michigan's ace. And the Wolverines will head to back. No score, heading to the bottom of the first.
Yeah, I just blinked and that half first inning was over. Top of the first inning flew by. 1 pitch to Lindmark, 3 to Kurland, and 5 to Marcotte. Quick work in the 1-2-3 spots by Storako.
And a breezy 1-2-3 inning for Alex Storako, coming off that masterful complete game on Wednesday, picking up right where she left off. And that's good to see after she struggled so mightily in Northwestern in her 2 appearances, surrendering 5 home runs, which at the time, after that Northwestern series had ended, she had only given up 10 on the season. So half of those coming in 2 games. She blew a pair of late leads, but she has rebounded big time Wednesday, and so far so good today. The opposition in the circle for Penn State is Bailey Partial. Not too shabby herself, enters with a 1.43 ERA. 136 strikeouts across 127 and a third inning pitch. She has 12 complete games to her own ledger. The left-handed pitcher. Michigan will send up Christina Burkhart, Ellie Sealer, and Hannah Carson 1-2-3 in the order against her. Melina Livingston bats cleanup. Taylor Bump, who had a big base knock on Wednesday, bats 5th. Lauren Esmen playing 1st and batting 6th. Audrey Leclaire mans right field and bats 7th. The designated player and batting 8th is Sierra Kirsten. And at shortstop, Ella McVeigh batting 9th. That means no Lexi Blair again in the lineup. She was injured in the opening game Friday against Northwestern. Was seen on crutches and sporting a brace, so she's still out of the lineup. A big loss there. But Christina Burkhart has done a great job in Blair's absence. She steps in and takes the first pitch low 1-0.
In that first pitch right there, you could see Bailey Partial, Penn State's pitcher, really does a great job of hiding that ball until the very last second. And so it's tough to pick up the ball when she's pitching it.
1-0 coming. Burkhart flashes bunt and pulls it back and takes high 2-0. And that's part of what makes Partial so difficult to hit. But speaking of hitting, Burkhart has been doing nothing but. She's hitting .421 in the air, elevated to that leadoff spot in Blair's absence. Just has been a tremendous addition, the transfer from North Carolina. 2-0 comes in low, ball 3. And so Christina Burkhart has worked her way into the most advantageous of counts. Ahead 3-0 here to begin the bottom of the first. No score between Michigan and Penn State. If you're just joining us, we are just getting underway from Alumni Field. The 3-0 is in for a strike. A very delayed call by our umpire, Terry Holt. We're used to that after Wednesday's game with Liz Hammerschmidt.
Are we?
Terry's got a low bar to clear. 3-1 coming from Partial to Burkhart. Fouled straight back, and it's 3-2. So Partial works her way back into the count, and now we're full.
We saw a lot of counts end in 3-2 on Wednesday. Either the pitcher got ahead and the batter worked their way back, or it was 3-0 count and then it became 3-2, and we're seeing that early on here.
Burkhart looking to get on to lead off the bottom of the first for Michigan. Here comes the 3-2. Is low, ball 4, and so Christina Burkhart works her way on to first with a leadoff walk. Partial battled back, but not quite all the way after falling behind 3-0, and that proved to be the death knell. And so Burkhart on at first. It'll bring up Ellie Sealer. We'll see what Michigan opts to do here. We saw Sealer lay down a sacrifice bunt in the game on Wednesday. She's hitting .208 on the year. Inserted into the lineup in Blair's absence. First pitch from Sealer. Shows bunt, pulls back, and takes a ball, 1-0.
Defense is prepared for that, with third baseman Leone playing far in, probably halfway to third base.
And now a meeting in the circle between battery mates. Cassie Lindmark joining Bailey Partial for a bit of a conversation here. Burkhart also has speed out at first, so that's a factor here. She's stolen 9 bases on the season, only been caught once. Sealer, a bit of a light hitter at the plate, and we know that Michigan has shown a tendency to use her in sacrifice situations. We'll see what happens here. Penn State nonetheless looks alert. Corners pinched in. Black at first and Leone at third. Drawn in about a quarter down that line. No score in the bottom of the first. Alex Storako worked a perfect first inning. Christina Burkhart with a leadoff walk, and she's the runner at first, with Ellie Sealer, the number 2 hitter, at the dish. Here's the pitch. Taken outside, ball 2. No sign of bunt that go around from Sealer.
And yet Leone, keeping her position far in front of third base, prepared for that bunt on that 2-0 on this 2-0 count.
2-0, Sealer swinging away, fouls it straight back. Penn State still playing for that bunt. Corners well pinched in. But after having the bunt on for the first pitch of the at-bat, the next 2 pitches, Sealer has been ready to hack. Hannah Carson awaits on deck, the number 3 hitter. Had herself quite the day on Wednesday. 2-1 the count to Sealer. Partial in the circle. Burkhart the runner at first. Here's the pitch, and there's a bunt, flared right back to the circle. And out of the circle to grab it is Partial for the first out. So the bunt was put back on, and Sealer couldn't execute, leaving Burkhart stuck at first. 1 out, Hannah Carson coming to the plate.
Looked like she tried to drag that one along with her down the first base line, but just got one in the air and wasn't able to angle it enough to first base, because if she did, it could have easily gone over the first baseman Black.
Of course,
Black was so far in charging.
The Cardinals sin of bunting, getting that ball in the air. First pitch to Carson comes in low, 1-0. We'll see if Burkhart has any interest in swiping a bag here. We know that Carson almost certainly won't be bunting, hitting .300 on the season with 3 home runs and a team-high 26 RBI. Left-handed hitter. That comes in low, 2-0. So Partial has gotten behind the first 3 batters that she has faced. And now we're going to have a full-on meeting in the circle. Battery mates again convening.
And against Michigan, you really have no wiggle room because of Alex Storako being in the circle and Michigan's on defense. And here with the runner on first base and the number 3 batter at the plate already up in the count 2-0. Penn State is going to have to be careful of what they pitch her, and that's exactly why they had that meeting in the circle.
And they're right in the thick of this Michigan lineup with Carson and then Melina Livingston on deck. The 2-0 to Carson, good cut, and she fouls it straight back 2-1. Livingston had herself a day on Wednesday as well, ripped a 2-run homer to right. That really put the game out of reach. 2-1 the count to Carson. Burkhart still the runner at first. She's shown no inclination of taking off. No score, bottom of the first, Michigan and Penn State. 1 out, a runner at first, Carson at the dish. Here comes the 2-1. Carson flares it deep to left center, but playable for Jones, who makes the catch. And Burkhart trots back to first, so a harmless fly ball off the bat of Hannah Carson brings up Melina Livingston with 2 out, and Burkhart still on at first.
Livingston and Burkhardt have really been the two best players for Michigan. Livingston won the one at the plate now, and Burkhardt on first base. Both of them transfers. So they've definitely made their mark on this team early on, looking to do so here in the first inning.
Livingston, right-handed hitter, slashing .415. Takes a first off-speed pitch in for a strike, 0-1. So for the first time today, Bailey Partial has gotten ahead of a hitter.
As I said, Livingston transferred to Michigan this year. She's actually a grad student from Penn State University, so this is her first time playing against the university after transferring.
Surely she'll want to make her mark here against her former teammates. That pitch rides high. It's 1-1. Livingston small in stature, but she has power, slugging .512 on the year, and we saw that on Wednesday, parking her first home run in the maize and blue. The 1-1. Big cut and a miss. Burkhardt takes off. The throw down is in time. What a throw behind the plate from Cassie Lindmark to nail Burkhardt, who's caught stealing for just the second time on the year. And that's going to end the first. No runs, no hits, no one left. And at the end of one from Alumni Field, Penn State and Michigan all even at no runs apiece. So interesting decision to have Burkhardt take off there. Not sure if that was a hit and run because Livingston ripped away. Just came up empty. Credit Partial for throwing it right by her.
And it looked like Burkhardt got a good jump on that one too, but just a great throw by Cassie Lindmark, the catcher for Penn State, to be able to get Burkhardt at second base.
So that'll bring Storako back out to the circle for her second inning of work. She'll face 4, 5, and 6 in the Penn State lineup. That's Lexi Black, Michelle Leone, and Liana Jones.
First up, as you said, Lexi Black, number 4 hitter in that Penn State lineup. She's a first baseman. She's a junior from Omaha, Nebraska. This year, she has started all 35 games, so she's a regular for Penn State. And she's second on the team in home runs, so she is a power threat. In addition, she's third on the team in doubles with 6. Alex Storako is ready in the circle. Here's the pitch. That one's high for a ball. Lexi Black looks at it high and counts as 1 ball and no strikes. Storako twirls the ball and she's ready. Fires to the plate, and that one's lifted into left field and loops in for a single. And a throw to second is gathered by Livingston, and on first base now is Lexi Black.
Well, Lexi Black just reached out her bat and flicked it into left. She could not have placed that ball any better. Just tucked inside the line in left field. Too deep for the shortstop McVeigh to get it. Too shallow for Sealer to have a play.
As you said, it was tucked in. It bounced fair, and then right there was Sealer in foul territory, straddling the line to be able to get that one. So about a foot or two fair, and she snuck that one in. But a great job by Sealer to get the ball inside the infield quickly to hold her to a single. Now the first pitch, there's a bunt, and Leone will be thrown out at first base, but advancing is Black to second. So Leone gets the job done on the sacrifice bunt, and Penn State now with a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
Well, an interesting case study building here, comparing the bottom of the first to the top of the second. Michigan had that leadoff runner on and could not get the bunt down. Penn State, 1 stab at it, perfect, got it down. We'll see if the Nittany Lions can convert.
It looks as though we're going to have a pinch runner here.
It's going to be Shelly Rivard coming into second. So Lexi Black will take a seat for the time being.
So Shelly Rivard, the pinch runner on second base now. Senior outfielder, used for her legs. And stepping into the box now is number 26, Liana Jones for Penn State. Jones, a sophomore from Langhorne, Pennsylvania. She is hit by the pitch as she did not flinch and it hit her elbow, and she'll take first base happily as Penn State Now his runners on first and second with one out.
You almost had to do a double take there to make sure it actually hit her, because when you say she did not flinch, she did not flinch. There was nothing there. But
I think it bounced right off that Evo Shield guard on her elbow, so she didn't feel anything, didn't hurt, and she'll take first base, boosting that on-base percentage. And now batting is Crothamel. She'll take a swing at that one and miss, so no balls and one strike to count. This is the first trouble Storaka's faced all day as she retired the first three batters, 1, 2, 3 in that first inning. Now 2 runners on with 1 out. Here's the second pitch, the at-bat. That's in there for a strike. Another delayed strike call by home plate umpire Terry Holt.
As you alluded to, it'll be interesting to see how Storako handles this bit of a pickle that she's in right now. First sort of trouble that she's had today.
Pitch number 3 in the count is high for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count with 1 out in the top of this second inning. Again, it is 0-0. Penn State with runners on first and second. 1-2 count to Leah Crothamel, and she swings and misses. That is the second strikeout of the day for Alex Storako. And that'll bring us to 2 outs in the second inning.
That's just such a weapon that Storako has in situations like these, especially. She can just rear back and blow it right by the opposition.
Now batting is Mel Combs for Penn State. She looks at that first pitch from Storako, and Storako's dialed in, throwing strike after strike. So starting this count, no balls and 1 strike. Coombs, a sophomore from Mechanicsville, Maryland. Last year she was second on the team in hits. Although this year she's only hitting 181. She squares around to bunt, but the ball went above her bat and she did not get it back. So that'll bring the count to no balls and 2 strikes. Again, there are 2 outs with runners on first and second for Penn State. On a single and hit by pitch, and that's a swing and a miss. 3 strikes to Mel Combs, and she's struck it out. As that is 2 strikeouts in this inning, 3 on the game so far for Alex Storako, and that'll do it for the top half of the second inning as Penn State strands 2 on 1 hit and no errors as we head to the bottom half of the second inning, and it's all knotted up at 0-0.
Storako making out as an escape artist there. Out unscathed, despite the hit and the sac bunt and the hit by pitch. Goes right back to her bread and butter, the strikeout.
Great job by Storako getting out of trouble there, and for Michigan now, they'll go to the plate with the 4, 5, and 6 hitters up at the plate. As last inning, it was Burkhart on the stolen base attempt getting thrown out at second when Livingston was at the plate. So it'll be Livingston going back to the plate, starting things out for us with Taylor Bump and Lauren Esmen following her in the lineup for this inning.
We'll see if Partial can ride any momentum from the end of that first inning. After the leadoff walk and falling behind the first few hitters, she seemed to settle down ever so slightly.
First pitch to Livingston's in there for a strike. And Bailey Partial getting us started. So it's no balls and 1 strike to count with Livingston, the first batter in the bottom half of the second inning. Partial, ready, fires. That one's high and inside. Livingston takes it for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Bit of an interesting situation for Livingston, who was behind in the count 1-2 and at the plate when Burkhart got thrown out to end the first inning.
And now in this count, it is 1 ball and 1 strike. Getting ready for the third pitch, and here it comes from Partial. And now Livingston's ahead in the count, so instead of a 1-2 count last inning, she has a 2-1 count now. 2 balls and 1 strike, as that one was, again, high.
And a familiar tune for Partial, falling behind in the count again.
And here's the pitch. And that is an off-speed pitch, but foul. That'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Livingston was early on that one, getting off the end of the bat and to the left of third base.
Decent crowd here this afternoon. And we said it Wednesday, but it's always so nice when baseball and softball play at the same time with the way that this complex is situated with the 2 outfields back-to-back.
It is indeed, although, and there's a foul ball by Livingston, so we'll do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Wednesday, and the baseball team lost and softball team won. I'm sure the baseball team did not expect to lose that one, playing against Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne with a record of 4-22 coming into the game.
Now 5-22.
And now back to the softball game. We have 2 balls and 2 strikes to Melina Livingston. And Partial fires towards the plate, and that is strike 3, swung on and missed. That is the first out of the inning, and the second strikeout of the day for Partial.
Bit of a late swing there by Livingston, and it seemed like she just couldn't reach that pitch on the outer half of the plate. So Partial's done a nice job in the early going, handling some of the better hitters in Michigan's lineup with relative ease, especially after the leadoff walk that she surrendered back at the first to Burkhart.
Bump now at the plate. She looks at the first pitch for a strike. No balls and 1 strike, the count. Off-speed pitch there on the first pitch of the at-bat. And as we mentioned earlier, Bump had a pretty good game on Wednesday, going 1 for 3 with a big RBI double.
That really set the tone, got Michigan going in the third.
First pitch is swung on, and it is a fly ball into right field. And there's Finnegan, and she handles things, taking care of it for the second out of the inning.
Bump got under that one a little bit. So Partial making quick work of Michigan's lineup here in the second.
Stepping to the box now, Lauren Esmen. Lauren Esmen, 1 for 3 on Wednesday. Batting average just above 300 on the year. The first pitch to her is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Partial with the ball, and she's ready. She fires off-speed pitch, dribbled foul on the right side. That'll bring us to 1 ball and 1 strike to Lauren Esmen.
Esmen tried her best to wait back on that off-speed pitch. Just couldn't quite iron it out.
Lauren Esmen second on the team in walks with 7. So expect her, as well as everyone else, to really work the count against Partial. And the count is 1-1, and here's the pitch, and that one's high, but swung on and missed by Esmen. So uncharacteristically chasing a pitch out of the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Michigan has yet to get a hit. Penn State with 1, Michigan with 0. Each team no runs scored, and that'll be strike 3, a swing and a miss from Lauren Esmen, and that'll do it for us in the second inning. Michigan with 2 strikeouts and a flyout in the bottom half of the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no runners left on base as we head to the top of the third inning with a score of 0-0.
Bit of a pitcher's duel unfolding here at Alumni Field. Storako, who entered the day with a 1.53 ERA, and Partial, who entered with a 1.43 ERA. Both are living up to their ends of the bargain so far this afternoon.
A pitcher's duel is what you can expect when you have 2 pitchers with an ERA around mid-1s.
Penn State with 1 hit, Michigan with none. So Storako out for her 3rd inning of work. Had a spotless first inning, ran into a little of trouble in the second inning, was able to get out of the jam after 2 runners reached with 1 away. Struck out the next 2 batters to face her. It'll be 9-1-2 in the Penn State order. Maggie Finnegan will lead things off, followed by Cassie Lindmark and the ever-dangerous Allie Kurland for the Nittany Lions against Alex Storako. Storako's line so far this afternoon, 2 scoreless innings with just 1 hit, walk none, and struck out 3. Storako deals the first pitch. Finnegan takes a rip, comes up empty on the high fastball, and it's 0-1. Finnegan hitting just 131 on the season through 61 at-bats, has just 8 hits. 0-1 the count. Storako deals. Cut on and miss. Another fastball right down Main Street, and it's 0-2. So Storako seeing the weakness and just going right after Finnegan to begin the third.
And Storako's done a great job of attacking batters early, getting ahead of the count.
0-2 fouled straight back, so Finnegan able to get a piece there. And it's 1-2.
Keeping her pitch count down. She only had 21 pitches through those first two innings. Although Finnegan fouling that one off, looking to fight her way, work her way back into this count.
4th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. The 0-2 fouled back and out of play over the stadium. So Finnegan fouling off 2 consecutive pitches. There'll be a 5th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. Still behind in the count, 0-2. No score, top of the third between Penn State and Michigan. The opening game in the 3-game weekend series between these 2 foes at Alumni Field. 9-1-2. Due up in the Penn State order here in the third. Here comes the 0-2, fouled back again. Karam's off the netting. 3 straight foul balls off the bat of Finnegan, who's really making Storako work.
Storako's just been throwing fastball after fastball in this count. Not really relenting much.
See what she does here on the 0-2, and that skips in the dirt. Looks like she took something off it, and it's 1-2. Finnegan able to lay back.
Just as I would say, one thing she does the opposite.
Our second, we can count that as an announcer's jinx. Our second of the afternoon. 1-2, Storako deals to Finnegan, and that one rides high. 2-2, good eye from Finnegan, who started to go around and then again held back. And so Finnegan, since falling behind 0-2, has fouled off 3 pitches and now taken 2 for balls. So this is turning out to be quite the turn at bat for Maggie Finnegan, the 9th hitter who plays right field today. 2-2 the count. Storako deals again, and that one's outside. Ball 3. So Finnegan, after looking to be overpowered and outmatched, has worked her way all the way back to make it 3-2.
The 9-hitter in Penn State's lineup, Finnegan's doing a great job in the leadoff role in this 3rd inning.
3-2. Finnegan lifts it to left center, easing back his sealer. She'll have a play on it in medium depth left field, and she makes the catch. So Finnegan gave it a ride, came up short. And that'll turn things back over to the top of the lineup with Cassie Lindmark. Lindmark hitting 4-0-2, flew out to center back in the first. 3 fly ball outs so far this afternoon for Storako. Lindmark, right-handed hitter. Storako deals the first pitch, and it's a little outside and up, 1-0. Lindmark, a catcher batting leadoff. You don't see that much at any level of softball or baseball.
You know, but you see a player with an on-base percentage of over 500.
That'll do.
First almost every time.
Don't matter what position you play. 1-0, cut on and miss. 1-1.
When looking at Cassie Lindmark, 2 stats jump off the page at you. 11 walks leading the team, but 11 hit by pitches.
The 504 on-base percentage is 100 points higher than anyone in Penn State's lineup today. Melina Livingston has a 510 on-base percentage for Michigan. That one's up and away, and it's 2-1 to Lindmark.
For comparison, the second highest hit by pitch total is 5 on either Penn State's lineup, and the top for Michigan is 5.
You think she has a magnet?
Potentially.
2-1 is fouled straight back, 2-2.
You should check the balls if she did anything before the game, or
doctor them a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of wear and tear for Cassie Lindmark. She'll look to get on base in a more traditional fashion here. even in the count with Storako 2-2. One away in the top of the third, no score, Michigan and Penn State. Here comes Storako's 2-2, fouled straight back. So these Penn State hitters here in the third are making Storako work. They're certainly not going down easily. Storako's pitch count still normal, but climbing a little bit. It's up to 30. It was much lower through the first two frames. Something to keep an eye on as the game progresses. 2-2 coming up again from Storako to Lindmark, and it's popped up. Esmen looking for a play along the first base side, and she makes the catch right along the netting in foul territory. Snags it out of the air for the second out of the inning.
Great play by Esmen, using that offhand to hold on to the fence, to make sure she had enough room and not run into it, and the netting was there, but just enough room to make that play.
Ball looked like it was coming our way for a second, and then was able to tail back and stay in play. That'll bring up Allie Curlin, left-handed hitter, the designated player. We mentioned back during her first at-bat the power that she brings to the table. It's 13 home runs on the year. First pitch to Curlin, rips it to the right side. Livingston right there. It eats her up. She sticks with it and throws to first in time. So it's a 1-2-3 inning, the second of the afternoon for Alex Storako. We're through the top of the third at Alumni Field. Still no score between Michigan and Penn State.
Great job by Livingston there, not really getting flustered, staying composed after that ball hit the glove, then her chest, and just scooping it up and throwing it to the first baseman. And Michigan, as you said, got out of that one 1-2-3, but Storako had to work far harder in that inning than she did in the other two. She almost equaled her pitch count in that inning alone, as now she has 31 pitches. So after having 21 through the first two innings, she had 16 in that one alone.
And on those hard-hit balls, back to the point you made about Livingston at second, you're taught if you can't field it cleanly, make sure it stays in front of you, and that's exactly what Livingston did there, and then the wherewithal to stick with the play and know that she had time with Kirtland running to first. We'll see if Michigan can get across the first run of this ball game. We're through two-plus frames. Heading to the bottom of the third, Wolverines still without a hit. There'll be 7, 8, 9 in their lineup. That's Audrey Leclaire, Sierra Kirsten, and Ella McVeigh. Wolverines looking for some sort of spark. Bailey Parcell has been tremendous so far this afternoon. 2 hitless innings. She's walked 1, struck out 2. Pitch count of 29 pitches through 2. She's fallen behind a number of batters. That's really been the only complaint so far. It'll be Leclaire to lead off, the left-handed hitter. First pitch on the way from Parcell to Leclaire, and it rides just a little high, 1-0. Lindmark stuck her glove there for an extra second, trying to get the call from Terry Holt, but to no avail. 1-0 to Leclaire, who's drawing the start in right field today. Parcell deals. Leclaire slaps it foul, wide of third. It caroms off the netting in front of the Penn State dugout. 1-1.
Michigan still looking for their first hit of the day, as Parcell has faced the minimum. Michigan 0 for 5 at the plate, with their one base runner being Burkhart. She worked that walk, but then ended up getting caught at second base on a stolen base attempt in that first.
1-1 to Leclaire is well upstairs, 2-1. Michigan got the leadoff runner on in the game with Burkhart, and haven't sniffed a base since.
Yeah, it looked promising. Runner on first with a good count for your number 2 hitter and sealer.
2-1 is high, 3-1, and especially when you have a pitcher in Parcell who has been good but a little erratic and a tendency to fall behind in the count, you'd assume that Michigan would be seeing a lot of good pitches to hit. And again, you would assume that that would translate into hits. It just hasn't so far this afternoon here in the bottom of the third. Leclaire ahead of the count, 3-1, flares it down the left field side. It'll go out of play, and it's 3-2.
Another 3-ball count going to 3-2. So we saw a lot on Wednesday. We've seen already a few today.
Leclaire looking to get on to begin the bottom of the third for Michigan. The 3-2 punched foul ricochets off the Penn State dugout, and it's 3-2. Still, we'll do another pitch here in this at-bat, pitch number 7 upcoming. So Leclaire putting up a good fight to begin the bottom of the third, trying to become Michigan's first base runner since this game began. The 3-2, and Leclaire chops it to third. Right there is Leone. Strong throw across the diamond is in time to gun down Leclaire. And so it's a 5-3 in your scorebooks for the first out in the bottom of the third.
Leclaire got some good contact on that one, hitting it square to Leone, but Leone stood her ground, made a great play, and fired it to first.
And here's Sierra Kirsten, 292 hitter with 5 home runs and 17 RBIs. She slugs at a .585 percentage. So we'll see if Kirsten can break this hitless drought for the Wolverines. First pitch comes in for a strike, 0-1. Nice fastball on the outside corner from Partial, who seems very much in a groove on the mound despite continuously falling behind hitters. 0-1 the count to Kirsten. Partial deals the 0-1. Kirsten fouls it back, thuds off the screen, and she's behind in the count 0-2, a position that not many Michigan hitters have been in today.
Although it is a position Kirsten is familiar with, as she actually leads the team in strikeouts with 27 on the year. Looking to not add to that total today.
Behind in the count, 0-2. Partial deals. Swing and a miss. Corsun chased the high heat, goes down on strikes. 2 up, 2 down to begin the bottom of the third for Bailey Partial. It'll bring up Ella McVeigh in the 9 spot. So Partial has now struck out 3 of the first 8 Wolverines who she's faced. Still hasn't allowed a hit here with 2 down in the bottom of the third. We're scoreless between Michigan and Penn State. First pitch, McVeigh takes a strike, 0-1. What has turned into a beautiful Friday evening here at Alumni Field. We had some hail, we had some rain earlier, but that tailed elsewhere quickly. Similar to what happened the other night on Wednesday, the storm subsiding. Here comes the 0-1 to McVeigh. She slaps it right back to the backstop, and it's 0-2. So back-to-back batters that Partial has gotten ahead of.
McVeigh had a strikeout on Wednesday, her 11th on the year, so she works the count often. She's also second on the team in walks with 7, so not really familiar with the 0-2 count.
Here's the 0-2. That's high. She's able to lay off, and it's 1-2.
When she is in that 0-2 count, now 1-2, you would expect her to really work it all the way back to 2-2 or potentially 3-2, as we've seen a good amount with these Michigan batters.
1-2 to McVeigh. She steps back into the box. Partial waiting for her in the circle. Here comes the 1-2. Slapped foul. And it's 1-2 again. So McVeigh doing a nice job to fight that one off and stay alive. 5th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. McVeigh hits .246 on the year. The freshman seeing significant playing time. 65 at-bats so far this season. Wolverines eyeing their first hit. There's only been 1 in this ballgame on either side. That was for Penn State back in the second. Here's the 1-2 to McVeigh, and she goes down on strikes. Fanned on the high heat. It's a 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts for Partial. And we're through 3 at Alumni Field. Still no score between the Wolverines and Nittany Lions as we head to the bottom, or the top, rather, of the 4th.
Really good pitching performance here from both sides. Bailey Partial not allowing a hit, and she's through the minimum 9. And Alex Storako only allowing that 1 hit so far. And starting off in this 3rd inning, it's going to be 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Penn State to face off against Storako.
The meat of the Penn State lineup, but not their 2 best hitters who hit 1 and 2. So, a little deceiving. I like to keep us on our toes.
Oh, yeah. As you say, it's a pretty nice day. Sun's peeking out. I don't know if we should expect any more rain, although There's some wind, as you can see the flag is blowing out, although that hasn't really affected anything so far today. Again, no hits for Michigan, 1 hit for Penn State. Stepping to the plate now is Marcotte, Lauren Marcotte for Penn State. She is a sophomore from Torrance, California. She has started all 35 games for Penn State this season, batting .287 on the year. And I mentioned that Cassie Lindmark has been hit by pitches 11 times. Lauren Marcotte is second on the team with 5. And the first pitch from Storako is in there for a strike, starting off the top half of the 4th. Ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Second pitch to Marcotte is high. Bring the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Marcotte struck out her first time around. Looking to improve her fortunes the second time, and here's the third pitch of the at-bat. That is a swing and a miss. Bring the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Storako ahead in the count. Familiar position for her today, and for her entire career, actually.
No stranger to strikeouts.
Averaging about 11 per game, per 7 on the season, I should say. That is outside, so 2 balls and 2 strikes, averaging a little north of 11 strikeouts per 7 innings. A little down from her average of 12 last year, but still a crazy impressive average.
Marcotte was a strikeout victim first time around.
And the 5th pitch is fouled off behind home plate. We will do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes to the sophomore from Torrance, California. Marcotte ready for the pitch. And here's Storako. She's set. She fires. That off-speed pitch is in there. Fooled Marcotte, and she does not take the bat off her shoulder. Looking at that one for strikeout number 4 on the day for Storako.
Fooled is exactly right. I had no idea that one was coming with sitting fastball, and that's just the brilliance of Alex Storako here on display today.
Lexi Black at the plate for Penn State. Looks at the first pitch, and that's a strike. Storako ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Second pitch is high for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike to Lexi Black. Lexi Black, the junior from Omaha, Nebraska, is second on the team in home runs with 7. She's batting .277, having started all 35 games, ready for the third pitch, and that's a swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Again, Storako fooling the opposition with the off-speed pitches. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. One-two count for Lexi Black, and here's the pitch. And that is strike 3, the 5th strikeout of the day for Storako. And Jared, is she dealing or what?
You took it right out of my mouth. I was about to say she is dealing now. I'll go with she's in a groove instead. Making quick work of this Penn State lineup, and as we said, living up to her end of the bargain in this pitcher's duel.
She is indeed, with 5 strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings pitched. Holding true to her average on the season. First pitch to Michelle Leone is outside for a ball. It is 1 ball and no strikes, with 2 outs in the top half of the 4th inning. Second pitch is high and outside once again. So 2 balls and no strikes. Leone ahead in the count against Storako. Storako twirls the ball in her right hand. She comes set and fires. And that one is high and outside once again. So 3 straight pitches, 3 straight balls from Michelle Leone. And she is ahead in the count. 3 balls and no strikes. Not a count Storako faces often. She's going to have to fight her way back, down 3-0. Here's the fourth pitch. That one's in there that is outside for a ball, and Leone takes first base.
Well, two things at play there. One, we're so accustomed to seeing Storako strike everyone out. That's just the assumption. Secondly is Terry Holt is not the fastest behind the dish with his strike and ball calls. So we'll cut you some slack here.
From our angle, that one looked to be in there, but
Look good to
I'm
me.
sure he has a better angle than we do. Now, Leona Jones stepping up to the plate. She swings and misses at the first offering. So Penn State with their second base runner of the day. Storako pitches the 0-1 pitch, and that is inside for a ball. Count all knotted up at 1 apiece. Again, we're in the top half of the fourth inning. Penn State with a runner on first base with a 1-1 count and 2 outs. And the pitch from Storako off speed is high. 2 balls and 1 strike the count.
Saw Carson pop out of her stance there. Looked like for half a second that Leone on first was taking off, but thought better of it.
And Storako ready for the 2-1 pitch and fires. And that one's in there for a strike.
Just dotted the outside corner. Perfect pitch. See if she could do it one more time.
Count 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Runner on first, 0-0 in the top half of the fourth inning. Pitch from Storako is in there for strike 3, and she has struck out the side. 3 strikeouts in the inning with 1 walk, so 1 runner left on base for Penn State. No runs, no hits, no errors as we head to the bottom half of the fourth inning with Penn State and Michigan all knotted up at 0.
She blew it right by her. Alex Storako doing what Alex Storako does. 6 strikeouts through 4. No runs have scored, allowing just 1 hit and 1 walk. Now the question is, can the Wolverines mount any offense themselves? 3 scoreless innings pitched by Storako's counterpart, Bailey Partial, and Michigan has yet to record a hit this afternoon through the first 3 frames.
And we are halfway through this one, and if Partial and Storako's seasons show anything for the second half of this game, is we should really expect more of what we've been seeing.
First one to score wins, maybe?
Exactly. Partial with that 1.43 ERA coming to this one, Storako with the 1.53. Each one has been dominant this season with 12 complete games for Partial and 16 games started, and Storako also with 12 complete games and her 17 games started. So not often do these pitchers take a step outside of the circle. They go the distance more times than not.
Michigan will have the top of the order coming up, and that starts with the only Wolverine to reach base, and Christina Burkhardt, who drew a full count walk to lead off the bottom of the first.
Burkhardt steps to the plate with an on-base percentage of .456, and she was 1 for 3 in Michigan's last game against Michigan State on Wednesday. And she's ready for the pitch, and that one is in there for a strike. Starting the bottom half of the fourth inning with a strike is Partial, so no balls and 1 strike the count to Christina Burkhardt. And Burkhardt gets a second pitch, and that one's looped into left field and in there for a base hit. Michigan is in the hit column on the day with their first one off the bat of Christina Burkhardt to start the fourth inning. And now Michigan with a base runner.
And there we go. Say goodbye to your no-hitter dreams. Burkhardt dashes those hopes. Nice piece of hitting, taking it the other way, just fisting it into left field. And now we're in the same situation we were a few innings ago. Burkhardt at first. Sealer couldn't get the bunt down back in the first inning. Let's see what she does here.
Ellie Sealer at the plate. She squares around to bunt and pulls it back, and that's a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. As you were saying, she attempted to bunt in that first inning, but she ended up popping out on the bunt attempt to the pitcher Partial.
Burkhardt was also caught stealing later in the inning after Sealer couldn't get the bunt down.
And there's a bunt attempt, but it hits her in the box, so that is a foul ball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I wonder if he'd be tempted to just let Seeler swing away. I know she's only hitting .208 on the year, but sacrifice bunting just doesn't seem to be in the cards so far today.
She has about 1 more strike to go for an attempt, although she is not bunting on this one, and that is a ball outside, so 2 balls and 1 strike. I say she really has 1 more strike attempt to go because at 2 strikes, more often than not, if you have that bunt sign earlier in the count, you won't dare try again with 2 strikes. And she squares around to bunt but pulls it back, so 3 balls and 1 strike. She let that one go. It was high and outside.
Now, you'd figure 3-1 is a hitter's count. It's also a count where you're likely to see a strike, which perhaps makes it easier to lay a bunt down. So they've been pulling the bunt on and off during this at-bat. See what happens here.
3-1 count. No bunt sign there, and she swings and fouls that one off on the left side beyond third base and makes the count 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Just couldn't quite get the barrel around on that one, sawing it down the left field line.
Three balls, 2 strikes to Ellie Seeler. Would you dare give her the bunt attempt with 2 strikes?
I feel like it's got to be off here.
A foul ball. So we will do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Looks like she is swinging away now with those 2 strikes, not wanting to risk laying a bunt attempt foul. 3-2 pitch is high and outside. And now runners on first and second for Michigan with nobody out and their number 3 hitter Hannah Carson stepping to the plate.
Well, a stellar turn at bat from Sheeler. No bunt and all, able to work a walk, and now this is the most threatening position Michigan has been in all day with 2 on and nobody out. We'll see how barely Partial handles this with her back against the wall. A difficult hitter coming to the plate in Carson.
Partial, ready for the pitch. Here she comes. And that is swung on and ripped into right center. And a catch by Crothamel, leaping and tagging up are Seeler and Burkhart. Heads up play by them on the bases. What a play in center field by Crothamel, ranging to her left and leaping at the wall and making the catch. But now Michigan with runners on second and third with 1 out.
Wow, what a grab by Crothamel right at the fence. She was shaded that way, which helped because that was a drive off the bat of Carson. And then able to stick with it right at the padding of the wall, catch the ball, hold on to the ball. I guess it goes down as a productive out for Carson and passes the baton to Livingston, but could have been a lot more if not for Crothamel's heroics.
And as I mentioned, the flag is blowing that direction, but just not enough on that one. Now Livingston pops it right back up to Partial, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. Not what you're looking for there for Michigan.
Wasted opportunity for Livingston, also a rarity at the circle. I never see a pitcher catch a ball, but that one was just kind of knuckled out there. No one else had enough time to get there, so Partial said, you know what, I'll do it myself, and now she can get out of this inning unscathed. The baton passed again to Taylor Bump.
We saw on Wednesday Taylor Bump really come through in this type of situation with that RBI double. And she looks at ball 1 there. So 1 ball and no strikes to Bump. First base open. Runners on second and third. Bump hitting .208 on the season. 0 for 1 on the day with a flyout. Looks like the second pitch, and that's a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Beautiful off-speed pitch by Partial. Caught Bump a little bit off guard.
Partial gets her sign, comes set. And she heads towards the plate. And that is ripped by Bump high into left field. Ranging back is Jones, and she is not going to get that one, as that is far gone against the scoreboard of the baseball stadium, or the batter's eye, I should say, of the baseball stadium. That one was still headed high and far and gone.
A mammoth blast off the bat of Taylor Bump, a no-doubter, way gone to left, and the huge hit that Michigan needed to take a 3-0 lead. Wolverines came into this half inning without a hit. They got one to lead off the inning, got the walk, and then the big-time blast off the bat of Taylor Bump. And talk about a welcome sign for the Wolverines. Bump was so instrumental to the offense last season, has really struggled this season, hitting just .211 a year after batting over .300. And if she can round into form, that would be huge. And that right there looked like the Taylor Bump of old.
And the Taylor Bump of Wednesday coming through once again with runners in scoring position is Bump. And, Jared, that one might have still been on its way up when it landed.
I don't know if that one's landed yet.
That was crushed.
If the baseball scoreboard isn't protruding out in left field, that one is landing in the outfield of the baseball stadium.
Now Esmen up at the plate fouls that one off. So Michigan with the crooked number now in the fourth inning, up 3-0. Partial in the mound. Gets her sign and fires towards the plate. That one's fouled off once again by Esmen.
You've seen Michigan have better swings against Partial and better at-bats. This half inning, Corsun with the drive that was caught. That one nearly left the park for a 3-run home run. And then, of course, Bump, leaving no doubt.
0-2 pitch to Esmen is high. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Michigan's first baseman. Partial's ERA took a hit there, and Esmen loops this one in the center field, but right there and diving and making the play is Crothamel for the 3rd out of the inning.
What can she do?
Making 2 plays, but unable to grab the mammoth long shot by Taylor Bump, which really gave Michigan the first big hit of the game, and Michigan leads this one after 4, 3-0, putting up 3 runs in the bottom half of the 4th inning.
First big hit of the game, one of the only hits of the game, and in a game starved for offense, that 3-run shot looms large. And now Alex Storako, saddled with the lead, goes back to work here in the top of the 5th. She's pitched 4 spotless innings so far, looking awfully good, striking out 6, allowing just 2 base runners on 1 hit and 1 walk. So we'll see how Storako handles having been dealt the 3-0 lead. In case you're just joining us, it was off the bat of Taylor Bump. A huge 3-run shot to left that caromed off the back of the baseball scoreboard. Way deep in that outfield. And that was just titanic home run off Bump's bat. So Storako back in the circle to begin inning number 5 of the afternoon, and leading off is Crothamel, who was all over the place in that bottom of the 4th. Before Bump's home run, she made what seemed to be a saving catch, leaping against the wall to take away extra bases from Hannah Corsun, and then to close the inning after Bump's home run, ranging well into left center this time. Corsun's grab came in right center, but she went into left center to rob Lauren Esmen. First pitch to Crothamel, who now has her bat in her hands, is a strike. We've seen her flash the leather. What can she do at the dish? She's hitting just .230 on the year, 0 for 1 in the afternoon. Storako dialed in. Here comes the 0-1. Crothamel flashed bunt, pulled it back, and takes it a bit high and outside, 1-1.
Michigan ready for the bunt as Bump and Esmen both charging.
Esmen in particular, a little pinched in here. 1-1 the count to Crothamel. Storako deals, swung on and missed. Fastball throw it right by her, and it's 1-2.
No bunt attempt there. No sign of a bunt attempt there. And that was a strike.
And the bunt will almost certainly be off here with 2 strikes. Storako eyeing what would be her 7th strikeout of the afternoon. Here comes the 1-2. She struck her out, threw it right by her. Strikeout number 7 on cue, and what a way to begin the 5th for Alex Storako, who looks for that shutdown inning after Michigan staked her with a 3-run lead in the bottom of the 4th. Mel Combs, the number 8 hitter and second baseman at the dish right now. Combs 0 for 1 on the afternoon, 179 on the season. Storako wasting no time, and she throws her right by Combs. And it's 0-1. Combs has started all 35 games on the season for Penn State. The sophomore takes the 0-1 just a bit high, 1-1. Storako really darting fastballs here in this frame.
Good eye there by Combs as she started her swing but held back as the count is all knotted up at 1 apiece now.
1-1. Swing and a miss. Fastball blew it by her again. It's 1-2, and these Penn State hitters of late can't catch up to Alex Storako.
Is that going to be another announcer jinx?
We'll see. The tally's 2-0 right now for you to me. Here comes the 1-2 to Combs, and she lifts it down the left field line in foul territory out of play.
Yeah, it hit the net.
Yes, it hit the netting.
They've got that extended netting pretty much all the way until 15, 20 feet in front of that fence.
Sealer was over there to give it a look. So we'll do the 1-2 over again. Combs staying alive for now. Storako eyeing strikeout number 8. Here comes the 1-2. Just upstairs on the off speed, and it's 2-2. Can never tell with Terry Holt.
As delayed calls make you trepidatious to really be decisive with your call.
The swings and misses make it easier. Yeah. Here comes the 2-2. That's a...
He fooled you there.
Okay.
That one wasn't even a delayed call. He pump faked on that one.
And I think he missed it. There's some barking from the Michigan dugout. Carol Hutchins is screaming at someone. Looked to be a strike from our angle. Storako is now in a battle with Combs, who has worked the count full. It's 3-2. Here comes the pitch. Lifted behind the plate. Carson chasing. So is Bump. And it's into the Penn State dugout. Harmless pop fly goes foul, and we'll do the 3-2 again. So another pitch upcoming from Storako to Combs. Pitch number 8. Storako's pitch count up to 60 on the afternoon here with 1 away in the top of the 5th. Michigan on top 3-0. Storako deals. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. No doubt there. Alex Storako wins the battle. Strikeout number 8. 2 up, 2 down in the top of the 5th.
Storako has done a great job striking out the last 5 batters in this Penn State lineup. She's up to 8 on the day.
First pitch to Finnegan is high. One 1-0. 3-0 Wolverines on top in the top of the 5th. The big hit off the bat of Taylor Bump, a 3-run shot to left field in the last half inning that handed the Wolverines a lead. That's high, 2-0 to Finnegan. Finnegan hitting just 129 in the season. She's 0 for 1 this afternoon. Right fielder, right-handed hitter against the right-handed pitcher, Storako. Storako's allowed just 1 hit on the afternoon as she deals high, and it tails off of Carson's glove into the backstop. Ball 3.
No one on base, though, so pass ball does not matter here.
Infielders converge in the circle ever so briefly. Give Storako a bit of encouragement. Taylor Bump laughing and motioning towards her ace. Anyhow, Storako has given up just 1 hit this afternoon. There was a single to left by Lexi Black, and there's a strike for Storako, and it's 3-1.
1 hit allowed, 1 walk from Storako, and the rest is just dominance.
Looking to work her way back into the count against Finnegan. 3-1 to the number 9 hitter in Penn State's order. Cassie Lindmark on deck. That's fouled straight back on the fastball, and it's 3-2.
There she has worked her way back to 3-2. I believe this is the second count of 3-0 that she's faced. The first one was a 4-pitch walk. That was to Leone.
And Finnegan's a big batter to get here. Lindmark and her .398 average looms on deck. And then after her is Kurland and her 13 home runs. 3-2 the pitch. And it sails up and away, ball 4. So Finnegan in the 9-hole works a walk, flipping the lineup over again and bringing Cassie Lindmark to the plate.
So both times now that Storako has dealt with a 3-0 count, she has walked the batter, even though she came ever so close to coming back against Finnegan there. She was unable to complete the job.
And a brief conference in the circle here with Lindmark coming to the plate. Storako has handled Lindmark so far today. She flew out to center field to begin the ball game and then fouled out to the first base side. A nice snag along the railing and netting by Lauren Esmen. But Lindmark is ever so dangerous. 5 home runs, 28 RBIs. She slugs .642. Her on-base percentage a shade below .500, as is her average, which is a shade below .400. She leads Penn State with 43 hits. And, of course, that amazing stat of 11 walks to 11 hit by pitches. So
that is a big walk. That you mentioned earlier that it flips the lineup, but with 2 outs, you're trying to get that number 9 hitter out so you don't have to face the top of this order now. But now with a runner on base, Storako is going to have to face the head of the monster here.
First pitch, Lindmark sent it over our way, over our heads. Thuds off the top of the press box and ricochets elsewhere. Strike 1. Looming on deck is Kurland. Finnegan, the runner at first, has decent speed. 5 stolen bases in 6 tries, but don't expect her to be going here. The 0-1 from Storako to Lindmark is at the knees. That's a strike. 0-2. So Storako, after uncharacteristically losing the strike zone against Finnegan, has come right back, firing in darts against Lindmark to begin this at-bat. 0-2 the count. Here comes the pitch. In there, strike 3 called. A quick call that time from Terry Holt. 3 strikeouts in the inning, sandwiched around a walk for Alex Storako, who works her way out of a brief spell of damage unscathed. We're heading to the bottom of the 5th. No hits, no runs, 1 left. Michigan with the 3-0 lead.
That is 2 straight innings with 3 strikeouts for Alex Storako, who is really making quick work of this Penn State lineup today, only allowing that 1 hit and 2 walks for a total of 3 base runners.
That brings her strikeout total on the afternoon to 9. Just a day's work for Alex Storako, who now has 197 on the season and under 120 innings. Three to nothing Wolverines. Michigan, its first turn at bat since taking the lead in the last half inning off a shot from Taylor Bump.
And a new pitcher for Penn State is Lydia Spalding.
Spalding is a freshman from Youngstown, Ohio, into the game, which that closes the book on Bailey Parshall. Parshall was good, not good enough when you're going up against Alex Storako. 4 innings, 3 runs allowed, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts, and that 1 big home run off the bat of Taylor Bump. Spalding pitches to a 3.94 ERA across 21.1 innings this season. He's given up 5 home runs, walked 7, and struck out 12. So, chance for the Wolverines to add to what is a 3-0 lead in this inning here. And that effort will begin with Audrey Leclaire, the number 7 hitter. Leclaire, left-handed hitter against Spalding. Left-handed pitcher. And first pitch comes in for a strike, 0-1. Leclaire 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Here's the 0-1. Leclaire rips it into right field, falling fast, down for a base hit. Fell in front of Finnegan. And Leclaire is reaching with a base hit.
Finnegan tried to get Leclaire out at first base on that one, but Leclaire able to beat that one out handily.
So Michigan, for the third time today and the second consecutive inning, has a leadoff base runner. Leclaire with good set of wheels herself. 5 stolen bases on the season. Has been caught twice. Sierra Kirsten, power threat at the dish, struck out in her first at-bat against Parsons. Now facing Spalding. Kirsten takes the first pitch high, 1-0. One and 0 the count. Spalding looks on. Kirsten at the dish. Leclaire the runner at first. Here's the 1-0 low. Ball 2. So Lydia Spalding, who has 7 walks in 21 innings this year and pitches to a 1.38 whip. She's not the tidiest of pitchers when it comes to preventing runners from reaching base, and that's showing its head early here in the bottom of the 5th. Spalding's 2-0. Kirsten lays back. It rises high, and it's 3-0.
Michigan looking to take advantage of Penn State taking out Bailey Partial.
3-0 coming to Kirsten is low, ball 4. Leclaire will move up to second. Kirsten's on at first, and Michigan is well positioned to add to its lead here. First 2 runners on in the bottom of the 5th. Ella McVeigh was due up. She's going to be pinch hit, though, for Annabelle Wydra.
So after 4 innings of only 4 base runners the entire game for Michigan, they have 2 early on here in this 5th inning.
Two runners on. Prime situation for Michigan to add to its lead. With Widra coming to the dish. Widra hits .304 on the season. Freshman utility player does it all. Pitches and hits. And she watches that one go by for a ball, 1-0. Leclaire, the runner at second. She's got a lot of speed. Kirsten, decent speed on at first as the back runner. Michigan on top, 3-0, looking to add more in the bottom of the 5th. Widra, hand the count 1-0. Here comes the pitch. And a hitter. And a hitter, not sure where. Karen back to the backstop at first. Looked like it might have been a foul ball just because Widra didn't react at all. But a quick call from Terry Holt, and the bases are loaded. Ducks on the pond for the Wolverines, with the top of the order coming up in Christina Burkhart.
Interesting there because she started her swing, and the home plate umpire did not check with the third base coach, but a coach for Penn State actually just asked the third base coach if she went, and it was clear that she checked her swing as the third base coach, Trina Comerford, just made it known. So now as the bases loaded for Michigan and the top of the lineup.
And who else would Michigan rather have up than Christina Burkhart, hitting .426, has reached base twice today with a walk and then a single. She notched Michigan's first hit of the game back in the 4th. First pitch, high and away, ball 1. Spalding has found herself in an immediate jam since relieving Partial to begin this inning. Leclaire dumped a single into right that fell in front of Finnegan. Kirsten worked a 4-pitch walk, and then in a pinch hit appearance, Widra got hit by a pitch, setting the stage for Burkhart. Left-handed hitter fouls it back, 1-1. So healthy cut from Burkhart.
Michigan in position to just blow this one wide open, just as they did the other day against Michigan State.
Leclaire, the runner at third. Kirsten at second. Widra, the back runner at first. 1-1 the count to Burkhart. And Burkhart pops it foul down the left field side. Giving chase is Leone, but it's out of play.
In the game against Michigan State, Michigan scored 2 runs in the first, third, and 5th innings. The 2 runs in the 5th innings really just served as extra insurance runs. Storako only needed 2 to win that contest. And here she already has 3, but now with the bases loaded and nobody out, can't help but ask for more.
1-2, up and away, ball 2. So Spalding, for a brief second, was ahead in the count. Now it's even. Marcotte, 20 RBI on the season. She's got a few more waiting for her out there if she could drive them in. 2-2 the count. Spalding deals to Marcotte. Lines it to right. That's going to land fair for a base hit. Into scores Leclaire. Kirsten held at third as the throw gets in quickly from Finnegan. And Christina Marcotte cashes in, dumps it into right field, tucking it just inside the line. And the Wolverines are up 4-0 with the bases still loaded and nobody out.
And the merry-go-round ride continues. Stepping to the plate now, Ellie Sealer. In her previous 2 plate appearances, Sealer has started the plate appearance with the bunt sign. But I guarantee you that here, that is not going to be the case, and she's going to be swinging from the get-go.
And Marcotte keeps the train moving. Sealer looking to keep it chugging herself. 4-0 Wolverines. Here's the first pitch. It's up and away. Ball 1. So Spalding having all sorts of troubles. She's faced 4 batters. All 4 of them have reached 2 singles in nearly identical spots. A walk on 4 pitches and a hit by pitch. And now she's behind in the count on Sealer. 1-0. Sealer, left-handed hitter. Spalding deals. Sealer rips it to right. Easing in is Finnegan. She's going to make the catch. Tagging is Kirsten. Here comes the throw. It goes to third. It hits the runner in Widra. She'll stay to third. Moving up to second is Marcotte, and scoring is Kirsten. So it's a sacrifice fly off the bat of Ellie Sealer. Gets the job done. Both runners, or all 3 runners, I should say, advance. So now second and third and 1 out for Hannah Carson, and 5-0 Wolverines.
And Marcotte wasn't going to advance on that throw, but it hit Widra's foot as she was going to third base. And due to the fact that it hit her foot, it went beyond the third baseman, and Marcotte was able to take advantage and swipe second.
And now Carson trying to add on even more for the Wolverines. Spalding, after getting her first out, pours in a strike. 0-1. 5-0 Michigan. Here in the bottom of the 5th, Wolverines crack the scoreboard first in the bottom of the 4th off a 3-run blast from Taylor Bump. They now have scored twice in the 5th on a single from Marcotte and a sacrifice fly from Sealer. And primed to score even more here with Carson at the dish. Here's the 0-1. Carson takes a strike on the outside corner, and it's 0-2.
Spalding's ERA now up to 4.52 on the year.
Widra, the runner at third. Marcotte, the runner at second. 0-2 to Carson, fouled straight back out of play. Up and over the netting behind home plate. And so Carson staying alive. Doesn't strike out often, just 8 strikeouts on the season. And Spalding in a spot where she could really use a strikeout here, but she's not much of a strikeout pitcher in her own right. Add in the count, 0-2. Here's the pitch, off speed, bends outside, 1-2.
Hannah Carson, after her 2-for-2 day on Wednesday, can really come through here for Michigan.
And she fouls that one back again, up and over the seats, staying alive. Well, the 5th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. Nothing coming easy in this frame for Spalding. She's allowed 2 hits, a walk, and a hit batsman across 5 batters faced. Her lone out drove in a run on a sacrifice fly. Carson in the batter's box. Livingston looms on deck. Spalding ahead in the count, 1-2. Here comes the pitch. Skips into the plate. Good block behind the dish from Lindmark to keep it in front of her and keep Widra at bay at third base. So now 2-2. Carson's gone from behind in the count to even. Spalding can ill afford to lose her here.
Some action in the Penn State bullpen as well.
Carson rips it, scorching it down the first base side, foul. Karam's off the netting, and we'll do that again.
Have to imagine if Carson's able to get a hit here off of Spalding, that'll be the day for Spalding.
Carson would love to make that happen. A hit could plate 2 Widra at third. Livingston not Livingston. Burkhardt off second. That's flared down the left field side. It's going to land foul out of play on the opposite side of the sidewall there down the left field line. And so Corsun continues to battle at the dish. And again, nothing coming easy for Spalding. Corsun really working a good turn at bat here. Can she cash in? Spalding ready. Here comes the 2-2. Fouled straight back. Up and over again. And we'll do that again. Corsun has now fouled off 4 pitches during this turn at bat. And a brief meeting at the mound between battery mates. Lindmark with Spalding. Meeting has been broken up. Spalding's back in the circle. Here comes the 2-2. Corsun lines it to left, falling fast. Coming on and making the catch is Jones. And holding at third is Widra as Jones rifles it in.
That was shallow enough and hard hit enough off the bat of Corsun so that Jones was able to fire it in and Widra was not able to tag up off third. She was in position to do so, but read it correctly there in staying at the base.
And speaking of being in position to do so, Jones in a near perfect position out in left field, just had to move in a few strides to catch Corsun's liner. So now Livingston, one last chance for Michigan to add to what is a 5-0 lead. Witcher, the runner at third. Burkhardt, the runner at second. First pitch to Livingston is just below the knees, 1-0.
Livingston yet to record a hit against her former team. Could do so in big fashion here.
Here comes the 1-0. Livingston hammers it deep left center. Back in the gap. Forget about it. It's gone. Home run. Melina Livingston deposits it beyond the bleachers in left center. A 3-run shot, and she's broken this game open. It's 7-0.
And as she was rounding second base, Mel Combs had something to say to her, joking around with her and laughing. And I called it, man. That's got to be a point, a negative
the other
point.
direction.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, what a shot.
Well, Livingston waited until Wednesday to cash in on her first home run in the maize and blue. A 2-run shot to right. She one-ups herself. The next game today, Friday, a 3-run shot to left center. All but puts this game out of reach. And it is in weird fashion, it is a walk-off because it's an 8+ runs after 5. And so Livingston really puts the death knell into this one. Michigan's going to win it 8-0 just like that.
And in grand fashion, Livingston, against her former team, comes through with a massive hit. And Michigan ends up winning this one 8-0 in what was really a pitcher's duel for the majority of this contest. Get for about the 4th or 5th inning, I guess. Michigan putting up 3 in the 4th, 5 in the 5th. But it was Storako really dealing again today. Penn State's lineup as a whole, 1 for 15 on the day.
And so it turns out to be a 3-run walk-off shot there for Melina Livingston. 8-0 the final. Wolverines win it. Storako dealing as always, and then the big shots, Bump with a 3-run homer, and Livingston with a 3-run homer. So Michigan's going to win it 8-0 here in 5 innings. Wolverines move their winning streak to 3. That's going to do it for our call today on WCBN Sports. Thanks as always for listening. For Zach Corsun, I'm Jared Greenspan, and as usual, good night and go blue. That was bizarre.